And no, Drake, being Young Money isn't just supporting Wayne and Birdman and the men in Young Money. Being Young Money is also supporting Nicki. In my view, a significant reason of why the Nicki hate train was able to progress and advance to the level it did is because Drake Graham, the biggest male artist, had nothing to say other than to pop up with Nicki's ops. That was Drake's only contribution to the conversation. Young Money where? Young Money where? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is another one of my no ghostwriter videos. Follow no_ghostwriter on Twitter and Instagram for 24/7 rap and hip hop talk. And be sure to like, leave a comment and subscribe if you like what I'm talking about today. So today I'm talking about Drake, and specifically I'm talking about why Drake turned on Nicki Minaj. Now before I get into that, I want to say thank you to all of the barbs who showed me love on my last video, which was about everything I want to see in Nicki Minaj's 5th album, also known as NM5 Amongst the Barbs. I was thanking you in that video because my video before that on the Queen album went to 1K in 4 days, and then that video itself went to 2K in 4 days. So thank you so much. Thank you all of my new subscribers, and thank you everyone who's been sharing my videos on Twitter and Instagram. Please follow no_ghostwriter so that I can follow you back, and I want to keep the conversation about Nicki and just generally rap and hip hop and all of the shenanigans going all the time. I hope you like this video, and please leave a comment and share your thoughts about everything we discuss. Now, I want to caveat right now that I am not just a Nicki stan, I'm not just a Drake stan. I am a Young Money stan. When Young Money became Young Money, I was eating that up. I was about 13, 14 years old, and I was loving it. I'd already been listening to Lil Wayne, and so I'd really fallen in love with his poeticness and his lyricism, so that was getting me into hip hop in a major way. And then Bedrock came out, and I started to learn more and more about Young Money, and Drake and Nicki for me were the standouts. I was absolutely obsessed with Nicki from the moment I heard her, and Drake pretty much had me obsessed as well. So let's get into the actual video. It's now 2020, and Drake and Nicki Minaj were the two standout stars of Young Money in 2010, which was both of their debut year. So since that point and the current day that we're in, there's been a 10-year gap within which both of them have become the biggest artists in their respective gender sides of the hip-hop genre. Drake is the biggest male hip-hop and R&B artist of all time, and Nicki Minaj is the highest selling female rapper of all time, and the only woman to have charted as many times as she has on the Billboard Hot 100. So looking back on where they started and where they are now, Drake and Nicki have solidified themselves as the most successful hip-hop artists in the world under the tutelage of their common mentor, Lil Wayne, the founder and bedrock of Young Money. So why is it then that in 2020 relations between Nicki and Drake are so frosty, where Nicki has found herself up against extreme disrespect in the music industry and from artists within it, disrespect from magazines and publications, and being treated in a way that would make you expect that anyone on your side or anyone who you would consider a brother would stand up for you. But alas no, that isn't what happened in the case of Drake. Significantly, ever since his appearance in the No Frauds video, Drake hasn't really been anywhere to be found when it comes to defending Nicki against public beef and disrespect. So in my view, because I know that in my last video I said, you know, I'm a Dricky stan and I miss Dricky and I'd love to see music from Drake and Nicki, and that's true, I would love to see that music, but there is so much that would need to happen before we got to that point. And for me, I don't think it's negotiable. I would think there needs to be a public apology from Drake to Nicki. And in a way that's not, oh, Nicki, I want to marry you, or anything that like puts her in that position. I want it to be something that's respect for her as a human being and his actions towards her and how it would have felt to feel piled on, and then for you not to defend her, and then for you to actually link up with her ops. I want some form of apology. I want something. He didn't defend when it counted and went so far as to collaborate and bring on tour two people who have been at the forefront of what is now immortalized as the Nicki hate train, a time where Nicki Minaj was made into the bad guy for the sake of pushing a narrative that she didn't support other female rappers and was some sort of bitter, evil, wicked witch of the East who wanted to stop anyone and everyone from making it in the rap industry. The Nicki hate train and everything that happened between 2017 and 2019 is a video in and of itself. So if you want me to do a video on the Nicki hate train, then please comment below and let me know. The first thing to establish when it comes to Drake and Nicki is the public nature of their relationship in their debut year, 2010, all the way up to 2020. There was a point very early on in our reception of Drake and Nicki where their relationship was a focal point of their publicity.
In effect. Explain you and Nicki Minaj's relationship. Me and Nicki have a really playful relationship, you know. It's like, it started out, like, I'll never forget, okay, I'm gonna tell you a crazy story I never told anybody.
Right.
When I was on tour, like the first tour, I saw Nicki for the first time and like literally fell in love. She had this snapback hat on. Jazz remembers. She had this snapback hat on that said Minaj. She used to wear it every single day. She was like a theater student, and like she was so cold at rapping. She used to be on the bus. Like we used to all have bunks that we slept in or whatever. And so I remember like the first, like one of the first nights we're out in Miami, and I went to the deli that's open like the whole night. What's it called? Jerry's, right. Jerry's Deli, and I went to get her this whole, I was like, you want food, you hungry? I sent her flowers. I was like, you want food, you hungry? And she was like, yeah, I want some food. And I was like, I'm in, we gonna eat food together. And I came to her door, and she took the food and shut the door in my face. And I was just like, man, I was like, this is gonna be a long road for us. So we've always just, I mean, I've always like really had a crush on her, like always really loved her, and she's always just looked at me as like a little brother. But I mean, we love each other, you know, and like that line on the album is just me playing with her. So I'll be playing with her for years until she's ready to go.
Drake and Nicki also collaborated on some major songs that were really, really important. Make Me Proud and Moment for Life, where you saw their interactions. Drake used to reference Nicki in his songs all the time.
And Drake just stand for do right and kill everything. I love Nicki Minaj. I told her I'd admit it. I hope one day we get married just to say we did it. And girl, I'm serious. I'm with it if you with it. Cause your verses turn me on and your pants are mighty fitted.
It was really obvious that these two had a really close bond. Even though Nicki did confirm in only a few years later that no, she did not have sexual relations with either Drake or Lil Wayne.
I never fucked Wayne, I never fucked Drake. All my life, man, fuck's sake. If I did, I'd menage with him and let him eat my ass like a cupcake.
Now we get into the period after Drake and Nicki have skyrocketed with their careers. We know that in terms of references to each other in their music, there weren't as many as there were right at the beginning. And it seemed to be from things that both of them had said in interviews around the period that they were kind of falling out of touch.
Okay, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
And I feel you can answer me best. A couple things. One is, you know, Drake. And I always hear, you know, look, you hear the talk about it kind of not being part of Young Money or things being happening or grumblings, never from the team. But, you know, I think it's, I mean, is he not in Young Money, or is it like he's doing both, like his thing and what, like something, look, something is, I'm not saying it wrong, but something is definitely not the same as the first album. That's what I feel. I mean, how do you feel?
You know what? I just feel like people's perception of their reality is their perception of their reality. So sometimes people make moves based on their perception of what reality is. And I know that sounds like a riddle, but maybe one day you will be able to unravel that one.
I mean, it sounds a little bit...
All I can say is this. Lil Wayne is everything to me. I can't speak for anyone else. And what Young Money and Cash Money did for Nicki Minaj, I could never repay them for. So I am forever indebted to them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens with any other artist, I don't know. All I can say is he's so talented, and sometimes, and we've seen this a lot. Sometimes when you're really intelligent and you're really talented, you also think a lot, and sometimes your mind is racing with thoughts, and it is what it is. People go through their own emotions, and you gotta respect it and keep it moving. I mean, I think like we all love the team. We all love Wayne, and that's what's gonna always hold us together. That's Drake is my baby, and because that's how we were when we came in. So whenever I think of him, I'm like, oh, that's my baby. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's going on now, obviously we're all very busy, and it gets shit happens. It gets a little hard to have a real connection when people are on different sides of the world and working on different things, and you just never know who people got in their ear or what they feeling, or maybe they felt wronged in some way. I don't know, but I just know that Drake is my baby.
And Nicki, the reason
is my everything.
Not even talking to Nicki. Communication is breaking. I dropped the ball on some personal shit. I need to embrace it. I'm honest. I make mistakes. I'll be the second to admit it. Think that's why I need it in my life to check me when I'm tripping.
Okay, so on that song, you talk about not kind of being on speaking terms with Nicki Minaj, and you kind of admitting that it had something to do with what you did to her. How are things now? Because I know you both came out during Big Sean's homecoming concert. Are things a little bit better now?
Yeah, I was at a point with Nicki when I made that song. Like I said, the album is a journey. So the first song is not where I'm at in my life right now. I mean, I started this album a year and a half ago. And it did kind of go in chronological order for the most part. So that song kind of does pick up at an earlier point in my life. And I had done something that, I had to just reevaluate and fix. We fixed it, we're good. We definitely talked. I saw her the other night and it was all love. I choose to express personal things in my music, and I don't ever do it with malice. I hope that when she hears that line, she understands that I'm saying that she's like necessary in my life and that I care about her. It's never with bad intention. But yes, I did express that, and I did also fix it, which I'm happy about.
And that sort of dricky love that we used to see on stage, and we used to see it on stage, kind of faded away for a moment. But then comes the period of the Pink Print. And what was crazy about the Pink Print era is when Nicki performed at Summer Jam in 2014, her and Drake were very much the same as when they performed in 2010.
Oh my God.
I could stay like that all day.
But you know what? The one thing I can always do is count on you.
Always.
The people love you. You the people's motherfucking champ.
You definitely had chemistry there. It was very okay. And that was in 2014. That 3-year period between Drake and Nicki in 2014 at Summer Jam Fest to Drake and Nicki in 2017 after Sheetha, after Meek Mill, this is where we start to see the decline start quite significantly. But the thing I want to emphasize is on the beef, which happened during Nicki's Pink Print tour. Now, we all know about Drake's iconic disses to Meek, Charged Up and Back to Back. We all know about his iconic line, is that a world tour or your girls tour? Because at the time, Meek Mill was opening up for Nicki on the Pink Print tour. Now, this positioning of Nicki in this beef between her brother and her boyfriend was huge. And it was, in the words of Drake himself, a factor that irreparably damaged his relationship with Nicki as far as he is concerned.
Can you speak to Nicki about it as well?
I don't really talk to Nicki, and again, another person that I have a lot of love for, man. A lot of love and a lot of respect. Not only for our past and how much work and time we put in, but even just the way she dealt with the situation at hand. I understand what love is, and I understand the personal situation. And, she dealt with me how I would expect her to, which was with class. And I could only ever do the same, There was points in time where I was sitting there waiting to see, like, okay, is this gonna go? I don't know, like how deep is your love, like you gotta ask yourself, but yeah, I always have respect and love for Nicki, and unfortunately we haven't spoke, but I mean, it is what it is. Even if we don't speak, she knows what it is. It's always love. And
so this is why, point number one, I think that Drake's biggest issue in all of this is that he's got big issues, and for some reason, Nicki has ended up sucked into the middle of them. Personally, for me, unless you're trying to tell me that Nicki was in cahoots with you for the entire beef and had told you, yeah, diss him whilst he's on tour with me, I don't think that you should have stepped out of boundaries like that. So is it that Nicki didn't defend you and take your side, or is it that Nicki's always been your dream girl and you were salty to see her with someone else? Questions that I want to know the answers to. And I find it interesting that the person that seems to have suffered the most from this beef between two grown men appears to be Nicki Minaj. And you guys, this is what I find fascinating. This is why in my video about the Queen album, I said this is really Nicki's moment where she is separating herself from the validation and influence of men, from the music industry, because this was whack as hell. It didn't make any sense. Why on earth would Nicki be thrown in the middle of this beef between these men and then somehow have her loyalty towards either of them questioned? And this is literally what Drake said himself. He said that that beef was the point where he sat and thought, okay, well, how deep does your love go? That was the question he was asking of Nicki. What the hell? Why would he be asking that question of Nicki? That is not Nicki's beef. So this thing of Drake choosing to go and reconcile with the person that he threw Nicki into the middle of his beef with, but then somehow being at a point where he cannot reconcile with Nicki herself is really odd to me. And another thing I want to highlight is that Nicki and Drake, in that period of time after 2017, they had a reconciling. So, you know, they fell out and then they made friends again. And
I want to say Nicki Minaj, I'm so glad we found our way back because I love you and I could never ever see it any other way.
And she said herself that Drake is always mad at her for something. She likened them to an old married couple.
What's your favorite Drake story? Like your favorite personal Drake story you can tell us?
Oh my God, how he's always mad at me over something. Drake is always mad at me. He always finds a reason to not be my friends anymore. We're like an old married couple.
How many times have you guys fallen out?
A lot. And then every time we make back up, we're like, no, you know I love you, I love you, I love you. No, you know I love you. Why did you say you hate me? Because I love you. Like, it's so stupid. But you know what? On the real, like, Drake also has given me some of the best advice of my career. He's given me some great advice. He's very smart, and you can't take that away from him. And also, even when there were things happening, even when I couldn't speak to him, I think he felt, you know, the love that I will always have for him.
I understand that whatever happened with this beef was, you know, it was legendary in the annals of hip hop. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that watching Meek Mill take L after L wasn't entertaining. It was, because this is Young Money after all. And as Remy Ma learned, as Lil Kim learned, beef with a Young Money artist, your career is gonna be with Anna Nicole. It is. That's just what's gonna happen to you. It's just a given at this point. Now in 2018, May 2018, when Pusha T sent for Drake, Nicki was there and she had shots to send for Pusha T. Nicki was there ready on behalf of Young Money. She said herself she was gonna stand up and not let Drake go out like that. And on top of that, when she's been on the radio, every time she's been asked about Drake and the Ghostwriter, a whole other video itself. But anytime Nicki's been asked, she's made sure that there's no Drake disrespect around her. There was a period of time where Drake was going around squashing his beefs with everyone, including Meek Mill, Chris Brown, whatever. So that sort of understanding that, okay, Drake demolished Meek, we all knew that. It's very odd that people seem to be okay with the fact that Drake and Meek Mill made up and then don't seem to question why Drake would make up with Meek Mill but then still be feeling some kind of way towards Nicki. This is what the streets want to know. How can it be that in May 2018, after the Nicki hate train was in absolute full effect, Nicki was still there, ready and willing to go hard on behalf of Drake because Young Money to the death of me, and yet Drake is popping up with every single op that Nicki has? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you're Young Money, if you love her, if she's your dream girl, if she's been down with you since the beginning, why would you pop up with her ops? Why, Drake? Why would you pop up with her ops? It doesn't add up. I want the answer. Lil Wayne never switched. Birdman never switched. Tiger never switched. And it got to a point that in 2019, Nicki directly addressed this on Barbie Going Bad, a remix of Drake and Meek Mill's song that they did together.
When you lose the queen, niggas friendly, dawg. It was just back to back like Wembley, dawg. Now you all the way back up in the Bentley, dawg. I turn lemons into lemonade simply, dawg. Oh boy, yeah, my brother tried to end me, dawg.
Nicki's not shied away from making statements that you would pretty much think are direct shots at Drake multiple times. And also, she had imagery in the Hard White video, which was speculated to be some sort of reference to Drake's Scorpion, Drake as the Scorpion, but who knows? But I'm just saying that as far as Young Money loyalty scorecards, if we pull up our Young Money scorecards, Nicki scores full marks all the time. And no, Drake, being Young Money isn't just supporting Wayne and Birdman and the men in Young Money. Being Young Money is also supporting Nicki. In my view, a significant reason of why the Nicki hate train was able to progress and advance to the level it did is because Drake, Aubrey Drake Graham, the biggest male artist, had nothing to say other than to pop up with Nicki's ops. That was Drake's only contribution to the conversation. Young Money where? Young Money where? So that brings me down to what I think this is all about. And I want to thank 20 Days of June on YouTube because he pointed this out and he said it quite a few times in his tweets. A significant part of the reason why Drake went on that campaign to, white flag it with all of his opponents and everyone he used to have beef with is because being Miss Congeniality is Drake's primary motive. As far as the position that he occupies, likability is what he needs. And he said it all the way through his music, all the way through his interviews. Drake wanted you to like him. Drake wants everyone to like him. But in contrast to Nicki Minaj has never had that mass appeal. She's never had that mass approval. When it came to a choice of defend Nicki, risk losing likability, Drake went on defending likability to the extent that he took actions and took omissions that made him quite clearly distance himself from Nicki Minaj. At the end of the day, I don't think that Drake ever maliciously set out to disrespect Nicki or to do anything like that. I think Drake just acted like Drake. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below what you think of this whole Drake and Nicki situation. Why do you think Drake turned on Nicki? Do you think it's because he chose popularity? Do you think it's because Nicki was never with him? Tell me what you think below in the comments. And as always, be sure to follow no_ghostwriter on Twitter and Instagram for 24/7 rap and hip hop talk. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it. And don't forget to like this video too, as well as leave a comment. Alright, peace out guys, and shout out to Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap forever and always.